Hi. Oh, I feel rough today. You?
Fine.
Look, about last night.
Forget about it.
No. I'd had a few, Karen.
No, really, it doesn't matter.
I didn't mean it to go wrong like that. I don't want you to feel that I was expecting something. I don't want you to think that us going to bed was all I wanted.
Look, I was low, we kissed, we stopped, end of story.
I was out of order to push it, and I'm sorry.
It was nothing.
I'm sorry.
So am I.
So what do we do now, then?
We go to work.
Karen. Karen!
What?
You're not making this easy. I mean, us. Where are we?
There is no us, Nick.
Rounds.
You all qualified? Fully qualified?
Mrs. Jacobson, we aspire to be the best.
And you're not going to do anything else while I'm under? Fiddle about?
All we'll do is give you a new tissue valve to replace yours, which isn't working properly.
Tissue? What kind of tissue are we talking about? Some tramp? Some young hippie boy in a motorbike accident? I watched the telly.
You don't have to worry. It's not a human valve.
Not human.
No, a tissue valve is the valve from an animal.
A creature?
That's right. Pig valves have been used successfully for over 30 years.
Don't joke with me. You want to put the valve of a dirty, stinking pig into my body?
It's common practice.
Now read the notes. I'm Jewish. You want to make me unclean? I can't believe this.
The chief rabbi has given special dispensation for these sorts of operations to take place.
Where in the Talmud does it say a pig is a clean animal? They carry disease. They eat goodness knows what. I've spent my life avoiding pig. Because it divideth the hoof, yet cheweth not the cud, it is unclean unto you. You shall not eat of its flesh, nor touch their dead carcass. Read your Old Testament.
I can assure you it's all sterile.
If you object so strongly, Mrs. Jacobson, we can delay your operation and wait for a human valve to become available.
But it's really fine. Many Jews...
Don't talk to me about Jews. I don't want it. I don't want the surgery.
It's your choice whether we delay the operation or not, but I do have to stress that your condition is very serious and you could be putting your health at risk.
I accept that, Doctor. But I'll wait for a human valve, and that's that.
OK. Dr. Merrick, let's go and see that a human valve is requested and today's theatre list amended. Read the patient's notes more carefully in future.
Are you saying we should have lied to her about the valve?
I'm saying you should have used a more tactful approach. You should have seen that she was Jewish and taken a more gentle line with her. Now she has to wait 2 days for the operation and put herself at risk.
There were 2 doctors round that bed.
Don't shirk your responsibility to read the notes.
What is your problem? Is this just about Mrs. Jacobson?
It's about you learning a little bit more sensitivity.
Well, if last night's anything to go by...
Don't push it, Merrick. What's this? It was in my pigeonhole.
Hang over that bed. You can see what it is.
I don't understand.
I wrote it last night. I want a divorce.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down, slow down. Where's this come from? How long have you been thinking about a divorce? Last night...
Last night what?
Karen, I know you're angry with me, but I've said I'm sorry. I thought I was apologising for taking things too fast. I thought...
I'm not angry with you. Not anymore.
Last night, we were talking again properly for the first time in ages.
We don't have a marriage, Nick. We probably never did. So what's the point in keeping it going?
Because there's still something there. At least I thought there was. And it's not about the sex, no matter what you think of me.
So why expect me to go to bed with you?
Because I thought you wanted that.
All the time we were together, you couldn't wait to get off with someone else. And now it's over. You say you want me again?
How many more times have I got to say it? That was me, yes. But it's not me now.
Well, feelings change.
So what are you saying? That you feel nothing for me? Can you say that, Karen? That you feel nothing? See? You're as confused as I am.
You're due in theatre.
Do you need some time to think about this?
Just get yourself a solicitor, Nick, please.
Please, I can't take this.
Edward Hurst, Marfan's disease. Now, in this case, I'm expecting to see a massively dilated aortic root. So why aren't I seeing it? Can we get the angiogram on screen, please? Quickly. Is this me or does it all look wrong? Can you ask Dr. Collins to come in here, please? Perhaps she can sort this out.
You need to rest.
Oh.
Edward Hurst, Marfan's disease. Opened him up, problem. Angiogram doesn't match what I'm seeing.
Right.
The angiogram shows a diffusely dilated ascending aorta, but the patient doesn't have anything like that degree of dilatation.
Does he show symptoms of Marfan's?
Yeah, I can feel regurgitation, but the root is certainly not dilated.
Let me see the angiogram.
Can we get the angiogram back on screen, please? Something's wrong.
I can see what you mean.
Yeah? It doesn't match. Doesn't match what I'm seeing in there.
So what are you saying, Nick? I've got the wrong patient.
So are your sons going to come and
The
see?
angiogram must be wrong.
I don't understand it. What do you think?
Well, I would continue. The patient obviously has Marfan's syndrome. He's in a serious condition. There's just been a mix-up with the angiogram. You can do the job without it.
It doesn't feel right.
You're wasting time. This patient needs the operation.
I don't know.
Nick!
No. No. I'm not happy that this is the right course of action. I'm not going on. I'm going to get authorization to close the patient.
The operation, nothing's been achieved. The patient's still at risk.
It's been a cock-up. Edward Hurst's angiogram doesn't bear any relation to the patient I've just opened up in theatre.
What?
Well, you've mixed up somehow. How am I supposed to operate without the correct angiogram?
Nick.
I opened up the patient and nothing looked like it was supposed to do. So either the original diagnosis was totally wrong or I've been given the wrong angiogram.
Don't shout. The notes were sent up from outpatients, so I don't see how they can be wrong. The patient does have Marfan's syndrome. I mean, the history's there, the consent form, everything except the angiogram.
You don't open up a patient, see something different and then continue to operate. I mean, what if the patient dies and I've got it wrong?
Well, Edward Hurst could still die. All he's got to show for it today is a scar. Let's just slow down. Where's his girlfriend? She's been on the ward all morning. Perhaps she can clear it up. Yeah.
Slow down, she says.
Emergency Bay 3, Victoria.
I'll talk to you about this later.
Okay, I'm just going to put a mask on you, Mrs. Jacobson. Just try and breathe normally. BP's 80 over 50, pulse 150.
Right, we need to operate. I knew it was wrong to wait.
The human valve isn't here yet.
Yeah, well, we can't worry about that.
Well, shouldn't we stabilise her first and get her permission?
You know and I know she's going to refuse that valve.
Yes, but it's her right to.
And it's our right to save her life when it's in danger.
Well, I say we wait.
An operation is the safest option.
BP's still dropping.
Right, let's get her into theatre.
Nick, slow down. We should consult Maya.
Do you think that's necessary?
I've spoken to her. She doesn't want the tissue valve. Whether it's because she's scared or because she thinks it's an infringement on her belief, she doesn't
She's
want it.
dying!
Let's take it to Maya.
Are you questioning me?
No, I'm not. I'm just covering us both.
Quickly then, we haven't got time. It's getting worse. She hasn't got time for this.
But we're going against her wishes.
To save her life.
She has the right to define her treatment.
Yeah, and we have the right to do our job.
Can we stabilize her long enough to wait for a human valve?
In my opinion, no.
And she's allergic to anticoagulants.
If we give her the valve, we're denying her specific request.
She only knows about the valve because you blundered in like a steamroller this morning.
No, Dr. Merrick has a valid objection, and as a manager, it's your responsibility to guide her through clinical problems.
That is what I'm trying to do.
Well, ignoring the patient's needs isn't much of a lesson.
I suggest in this case we proceed with the valve replacement. She's of advancing years, and I don't think that stabilizing her is the right option. Her body seems to be telling us to act quickly. Do I take it you'd rather someone else assisted Mr. Jordan?
No, I'll assist.
Then get on with it, please. You seem unable to control or manage Dr. Merrick. She is here to learn from you.
Yes, I know that, but what am I supposed to do when she continues to ignore me?
You could try reasonable argument and ethical detail. Be a manager. This episode reflects as much on your skill as on hers, as she's a young doctor and you supposedly have more experience. Please start using it.
God, it makes me sick.
Just tell Mrs. Jacobson about our new pig valve.
I want you to tell her.
What, you're leaving it to me?
I'm not leaving it to you, Victoria. You assisted me in the procedure and spent time with her this morning and got to know her. I think it's best coming from you.
But I didn't want to go ahead with the operation in the first place.
Well, it'll be a lesson in holding your tongue then, won't it?
What is your problem, Nick? Is this some kind of testosterone-charged competition?
Are you going to tell her or not?
I'll tell her.
Valves cannot reach. It's like seeing old friends. Even though I feel like an army's marched over me.
Well, lots of rest will help that.
I'm not about to run the marathon, Doctor.
Listen, I've got some news that you may not want to hear. Enough time to get the human valve you wanted. We had to go ahead with the tissue valve.
What? Call it what it is. You put the pig valve in me. You had no right. I asked you not to.
I know, but you were very weak.
You lied to me. Took advantage of me when I had no say. I'm going to sue. That's what I'm going to do. It's inhuman.
Please, Mrs. Jacobson, your life was in danger and we had to act quickly.
Don't whitewash me. All I do is faint and you push a pig valve in me. This is going to cost both of you dear. My sons will make sure both of you never practice again. It's evil what you've done. Evil.
You have to stay calm, Rachel.
Don't call me that. Only my friends call me that.
You've just had an operation on one of the most vulnerable areas of your body. You're 66, and I don't think you'd realise how serious your condition was.
Don't tell me what I do and don't know. I want this thing taken out of me. Get the chief doctor and arrange for it to be taken out.
A reversal is not an option, I'm afraid.
Oh, yes, it is. Get that top doctor of yours in here now. Let him tell me it's not an option when I threaten to sue.
You're right. You're operating on the son, not the father.
What? You mean he impersonated his own father? Good God, insane thing to do.
Best thing you could have done not to continue.
Right. Another hospital. He's taking us for a ride and I don't want him. As soon as you can.
Come in.
Am I welcome?
Depends what you want.
I don't know. Drink? Meal? Chat?
You're not going to win me round.
I'm not trying to. All day you've been like this. How can we talk if you're so cold? Shutting me out is not the answer, Karen.
And shouting at me isn't the answer either.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Come on, talk to me.
I'm tired and I'm going home.
You won't even let me apologise, will you?
No. Why play the same record over and over again? We have been here so many times before. Me upset, you apologising. The only thing that's changed is the location.
I'm sorry. Oh. You've got me. This letter has really shocked me, Karen. I don't know where I am.
Nick, it's the end. Just admit it like I have.
It's wrong. It's too final. Come on.
Nick, we don't live together, we don't have sex, we don't even have an emotional life. How am I wrong?
I can refuse to sign, you know.
Don't, Nick. Don't make it any worse. It's finished.
Taking your own advice, I see.
Pardon?
You've obviously been really sensitive with Karen.
My private life is nothing to do with you, so keep out of it.
It is when you parade it all around the ward. I couldn't help hearing.
Why don't you run down to Mayor and tell him I'm having a few emotional problems? That'll get you some brownie points.
Ah, so that's it. I'm not out to bring you down. I'm not after your job.
It's where you're heading. You swan in here with your arrogant public school attitude.
Oh, grow up. That's snobbery of the worst kind.
No, the worst kind of snobbery is your kind. The kind that expects everything because of your postcode. You've got everything, haven't you? The connections, the breeding, the father. How could you fail?
How dare you? I haven't once used my father.
You don't have to. The old boy club works silently. Do you think Mayor would put up with you if he wasn't pally with Pater? How do you think you got here in the first place?
That is sad. No wonder Karen wants nothing to do with you. You've got a chip on both shoulders.
I've worked for everything I've achieved. No one's given me a thing. Grants, college, can you say that? You've had all the chances in the world and you still can't do it. You can't do it without the help of drugs.
You know I've stopped that.
I wonder what your father would say if I told him you had a speed habit. He wouldn't be able to save you then, would he? You'd have to get by on your own. And you know something? You just couldn't do it.
Get away from me.